Hi, everyone. I'm John C. Morley, the host of the JMOR Tech Talk Show and Inspirations for Your Life. Hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur, and you're tuned into the JMOR Tech Talk Show. Great to be with you guys this evening. It is August 11, 2023, ladies and gentlemen. I am so grateful to have you with me on another great show. And if you're new here, well, just grab your smartphone, point over the QR code, touch the yellow lips. You'll get my link tree as easy as that. If you're not watching us, but you're listening to us, well, then go to believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into the topic, shall we? Because we got a lot to cover in this show. Again, it is the JMOR Tech Talk Show, Series 2, Show 32, August 11, 2023, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so first thing on the news, the U.S. cyber body to review cloud computing safety because of a Microsoft breach. Ooh. So Washington, this is according to Reuters, a U.S. cyber safety body is reviewing the issues relating to cloud-based identity authentication issues from Microsoft. And so the review by the Cyber Safety Review Board is going to look at the malicious targeting of cloud computing environments. And it should be pretty interesting to see, what they conclude. And this review comes after the U.S. Senator Ron Wyden in July asked the Federal Trade Commission, the Cybersecurity and the Infrastructure Security Agency, and the Justice Department to take action against Microsoft following the hack. Now, Microsoft has been under increased scrutiny following revelations that hackers allegedly are operating on Beijing's behalf, got hold of one of its cryptographic keys, and took advantage of a coding flaw to gain sweeping access to the company's cloud email platform. And now it seems that they're going to start dealing with this and possibly making Microsoft pay the piper because, regardless of where it's happening, if it is Microsoft software, I mean, they have a right and a responsibility to make sure that this software does not get abused. And if it is, then they need to alter it or fix it so the bug is not. But we all know Microsoft for a long time. They don't fix something unless it's broken. And they're not going to put money into R&D to fix something unless they got their hands held to the fire. Unfortunately, Microsoft, they did do a lot of great products, but let's face it, when it comes time to delivering a high-quality product, they're cheap. And if there's something that is going to cost them a lot of money to fix, even though it might be a security risk for an individual or for a company or for the country, they're not that interested in fixing it until they get their doors knocked on by a legal entity or agency, such as a government one. And then they'll have to start paying the piper or at least fixing what's going on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, another interesting story is a Tutoring firm settles the U.S. agency's first bias lawsuit involving AI software. This is quite impressive. I mean, you're probably wondering, how, why, when, and where did all this come from? So I've told you guys that AI is going to become more of a challenge for a lot of people. We've said this before. And AI is already causing, some challenges. And so, the big issue is, what's being done about it. And the fact that a tutoring firm is settling a U.S. agency's first bias lawsuit involving AI software. We knew that this was going to happen. And basically, the EEOC had alleged that iTutor Group in 2020 programmed online recruitment software to screen out women aged 55 or older and men who were 60 or older. The iTutor Group, a unit of Ping and Insurance Group Co. of China, did not immediately respond to a request for comment, and the EEOC spokesperson said the agency would not comment until the settlement is approved. At least 85% of large U.S. employers are using AI in some aspect of employment, according to recent surveys. And this includes software that screens out job applicants before a human reviews any applications, chatbots, etc. And many workers, advocates, and policymakers are concerned about the potential for biases that might be encoded into the software from the training data that it is using. And in a pending proposed class action in California's federal court, Workday, they're being accused, yes, Workday is being accused of designing hiring software used by scores of large companies that screens out Black, disabled, and older applicants. Workday has, of course, denied the wrongdoing. Experts expect an increasing number of lawsuits accusing employers of discriminating through their use of AI software. So this is a problem with what's going on, and I feel that it's going to get worse. And, AI can have some benefits, especially when it's checking on some things. But, the fact that a lot of things people don't know are popping up is no excuse to allow them to happen. And you might be saying, hey, John, is this really realistic? Yeah, guys, we're going to see a lot more of these cases. And like I said, when you hear about how this is going on, and they're agreeing to settle a U.S. government agency novel lawsuit claiming it used hiring software powered by artificial intelligence to illegally weed out older job applicants. This is pretty serious. And the reason it's serious is that they knew what they were doing from the get-go, and they were hoping that nobody was going to open their mouth and say anything. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? AI, there's good and there's bad. Software can also be used to detect what's going on. And the fact that this stuff that we're seeing is unfortunately being pushed under the carpet. But thanks to technology and smart people, they're able to see that this software is not hiding from anyone. And so I think when we talk about, equal opportunity employment, right, the EEOE, and the EEOC is the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission. And so they say that no one can be discriminated for race, religion, sexual orientation, color, creed, political party, gender, race, right, age. They're getting serious about that. And I think once a few of these fines start to get issued, you're going to see how fast people are changing their tune. So is Workday biased software? Again, they are enterprise cloud applications, and one of them is Workday, and they're being sued over alleged racial and other biases in their AI applicant screening tool, and alleges that the tool contains algorithmic discrimination against applicants who are African American, over the age of 40, and those with disabilities. And if you're wondering, so who owns Workday, if you want to know that? Because, I always like to tell you that. So Workday's parent company, and this is going to surprise you, ladies and gentlemen, yes, it's Oracle. Workday was founded by David Duffield, the founder and former CEO of ERP company PeopleSoft, and along with the former PeopleSoft chief strategist, Anil Bursari, following Oracle's acquisition of PeopleSoft in 2005, Workday Inc. So is Workday a public company? And the answer to that is it is a public company headquartered in California with an estimated 15,200 employees. So people said, did Amazon buy Workday? So there was an Amazon and Workday partnership. However, Amazon eventually scrapped the deal and returned to its original software vendor. While some of its sectors do currently use Workday, the implementation was nowhere near as widespread as they first imagined. And once these big companies find out that there's something wrong with something they're using, they quickly drop it like a hot potato and they don't look back, and they just want to get it out as quickly as possible. All right. So AI is coming, and unfortunately, AI has been around for a while, and they've been able to hide some things. I know whether you're using Workday or using other types of platforms, the systems have rules that you as employers can build in, but you're not allowed to discriminate for race, religion, orientation, color, creed, sex, gender, orientation, nothing. Can't do that. So if you're looking for a specific type of person for a job, for example, you need someone that is able to do a certain job, you can hire on skill, but not on any of those other factors. That is really important. So, ladies and gentlemen, Ford, yes, Ford execs expects software to boost revenue for commercial trucks and vans. So, what's this all about, ladies and gentlemen? Well, so Ford Motor expects to incorporate more and better software into trucks and vans that is highly profitable in the Ford Pro commercial vehicle and grow revenues by 4,000 to 5,000 per vehicle in the future. And Devin Kumar, who is the CFO of Ford Pro, said the automaker would look to boost revenue with software and data-driven fleet services, safety and security services, partial vehicle autonomy, and insurance. Kumar spoke at the JP Morgan Investor Conference, and he did not give a percentage forecast for revenue or profit margin growth. Now, I know some people that are in the motor industry, and I heard what they're doing is they're starting to do what some of them already had done is they start charging you for an app. Now, that's not new, but so like, for example, with my car, I get like basic reporting to the app. But if I want to be able to unlock my doors, let's say check the status of where my car is, or maybe send GPS navigation to the onboard system, I need to have the second package, which is there's a fee for. The third package is when you want to have concierge, where you have these people in another country. They claim to know what they're talking about. All they do is go online and just search reviews, and they tell you to go to a restaurant, but they've never once in their life been there. I remember being on the phone when I was in the trial, and I said to the person, which restaurant do you recommend? Oh, this one. And they tell me, I said, really? I said, why? I said, have you been there? No. I said, can you recommend one you've been to? I said, are you currently in the United States? A silence fell over the phone. So they're hiring virtual assistants and people that are not even in our country that are looking at maps on Google and other search engines to try to, let's say, befuddle their way into getting people to sign up. So really, really terrible. But we knew it was going to happen because, as I was telling you, I know a few people in the industry, and what they told me is going to happen is that more features, not just the lock, unlock, but there are other additional features that you may want in your car, such as the Smart Start feature. You're going to have to pay extra, even though once installed, you have to pay a monthly fee if you want to execute that feature from the app. And if you want to use the Smart Start off of your, let's say, off of your keychain, you're also going to have to pay. But if you go to push it in the car, that's okay. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is just a real money crusade, and there is no intention to provide value. I don't know. We're going to have to see what's happening, what they're doing. But right now, we know they want to get rid of gas vehicles. What is it, like by 2025 or 2026, something like that? They want to get rid of that, or 2030. But there's all speculation right now. So not just Ford, but everyone else and their mother and brother is doing the same thing. They all want to make more money. And they think that if they take away services, that are going to be vital to people, that they can, let's say, con them into paying for them. And the way these people do this now with the company is you can either do it basically for one package, but they don't do it monthly, ladies and gentlemen. They do it yearly. They don't even give you the option to pay monthly. I'm told that with some of these new companies, services they're offering, not so much new companies, but new offerings from these existing companies, they're going to allow you to have the monthly option. I don't know. If I'm buying a car, I want to have all the features that I'm paying for, or that's probably not going to work out well. And I'm probably not going to buy that vehicle again. Verizon. Oh, I don't know what to say about Verizon. First, I want to tell you that I get a little bit dismantled with them when I get a warning telling me I need to pay my bill, and it's not even 1 day past due. I also get annoyed when I try to call them and you can't even get a live person, or when I get someone and they're in another country and I try to explain to them what's going on, and as soon as I explain to them, they hang up on me because I know they're not in the United States. And I have to say something to you, Verizon. I have to say this. Shame on you. Shame on you for hiring people outside of the United States when there are good people right in our country that can do and need these jobs. So I have lost a lot of respect for Verizon, unfortunately. I've been a customer of theirs for many years, and I'm even contemplating leaving their company. Their service is okay, but their customer service, let's just say it's very far from it. You get people on the phone, they try to help you, they try to be nice, but the long short, they don't want you to talk to somebody. They want you to deal with an automated system. An automated system. I don't want to deal with an automated system. I really don't. And you might be saying, John, well, this is what Verizon's doing. This is the way they're doing. And the reason they're doing this, if we had to ask, why is Verizon outsourcing their call center? Um, so they are outsourcing. It's been confirmed. Its call center in Mexico, India, and the Philippines. Now, you want to know why they're outsourcing? They claim it's to help you save time and to help them save money and improve customer satisfaction, which supposedly enhances customer retention. But I have to tell you, every time I talk to them, I just realize that I think I want to leave them because I don't feel that they care about anything more than seeing me as a number every single day. See, that's a big problem that I have. And you might be saying, John, it's crazy, but it's not crazy, ladies and gentlemen. I'm being honest with you. It is not crazy. And if it's not crazy, then you're probably wondering what's happening. And the fact is, they don't care about people's service. All they care about right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you what they care about. They care about one thing. They care about their own business. They care about their own business. And you might be saying, John, that's crazy, but it's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. It is the truth. I mean, the truth. So you might be saying to me, hey, John, what can we do about it? You tell them, they really don't care. And when I started to express how unhappy I was, you know what they did? They just told me, is there anything else they can do for me? And then you know what they did? They hung up on me. So I just want to say shame on you, Verizon, because I feel that you are sending a very bad message. A very bad message. And that message, ladies and gentlemen, is terrible. And you might be saying, why is it terrible? Well, it's terrible because I feel that people need to understand what's going on. And when we can't understand what's going on in our lives, that, ladies and gentlemen, is a huge, huge problem. I mean it. It's a huge problem. And they really don't care about anybody. They care about no one. They care about no one. I don't know. I think more people got to send a message to them, a message that we are unhappy as consumers. I mean it. Why? I think it's because if we understand what happens as consumers, right? Business owners, doesn't really matter whether we're consumers or not, but we're still business people, right? And so I want to tell you that it starts off with the whole concept that you need to make a choice. And if you can't make a choice, you got to let people know that you're unhappy, right? You got to let people know that you are unhappy. And you might be saying to me, "Hey, John, what's this all about?" And it comes down to a simple, simple fact. And that fact, ladies and gentlemen, is something pretty amazing. It's the fact that people do things when they're cheap. But I have to tell you, customer service from that company has really, really changed. I mean, big time changed. And so, why? Um, I'll say to you, it's because it's all about money. It's all about money. That's the real truth of the matter. It's about money. And because it's about money, you're probably on the fence to saying, well, gee, why is it happening this way? Right? Why? And you might be saying, well, gee, maybe it's this way, maybe it's that way. I don't know. But I know one thing. I know that people can't do something a certain way if they're not happy. And when you have people that are, let's say, not giving you that high level of service, that's a serious, serious problem for me. A serious problem. And so, why? I think it's for the main reason that most people don't understand. They don't understand what's going on. And if they don't understand what's going on, then how can they ever do anything? Right? How can they ever do anything if they don't know what's going on? But it's not the first time, ladies and gentlemen, that I have been unhappy with them. It's not the first time. And I say this to you because I think a lot of people don't understand what's really happening. You heard me. They don't understand what's really happening. And if they don't understand what's really happening, then how do you provide a good service? How? Hard. Very hard to provide a good service. That service might be something that's very, very confusing for you, right? It's something that might be very, very confusing for you. But how do you let these people know that you're unhappy? I think that's a tough thing. Why? I'll just tell you that it's a problem. I'll tell you that it is a problem. But why? I think it becomes a problem because it has to do with service, right? And if service is a certain way, then how do we handle that, right? How do we handle that? And you might be coming back and saying to me, John, this makes no sense. But what is it that Verizon's doing, right? Like, what are they actually doing, and how are they doing what they're doing? But right now, the biggest thing I want to share with you is the fact that they are providing a different type of service, a different type of service. What does that mean? I'll tell you that it's got to be tough sometimes to understand, what's happening. And you might be saying to me, "Hey, John, is there some way we can tell Verizon to not do this stuff? Is there some way that we can tell them that we actually want better service?" And frankly, gentlemen, I don't have an answer for you guys. Unfortunately, I don't have an answer. And the reason I don't have an answer is for one main reason. And that reason is there's no answer. They're just all driven about money. They're all driven about money. If they're only driven about money, then that's a serious problem for me, you know? But the real story I want to share with you is about Verizon signing a technology deal, okay, with HCL. Um, Basically, they entered into this past Thursday and they signed a technology deal with India's HCLTech to help manage networks for business customers in a bid to stem a decline in its wireless business. Now, the first thing I got to say, ladies and gentlemen, is we got to do stuff in our own freaking country, right? Why are you doing all this stuff over there? I mean, that's my biggest thing. Like, why are you doing stuff over there? That's really what I want to know. And if you can't tell me that, then I got a problem with that. I got a really, really, really big problem. I got a huge problem with that. And the reason I had the problem is that we're talking about service. Talking about service. Okay? And if we're talking about service, then how do we figure out what's working and what's not working? How? I think that's a serious problem. But the fact that they're going to other countries, okay, has a big, big problem for me. A big problem. I'm talking about a big, big problem. And the reason I share this with you is because this is serious. This is really, really serious. It's so serious that we could potentially harm our business, harm our ecosystem, right? That's a big problem I have. But all they care about is one thing, and it's their money. You heard me. Said it correctly. I've said it, I'll say it before. Their money. That's all they care about. It's their money. And maybe it's because they're falling on tough times. I don't know, right? I think that is the biggest challenge. That is the biggest challenge. And I say it's the biggest challenge because it affects work, right? It affects work, it affects what people are doing, it affects a culture, right? It affects a culture. But how does that culture make a difference in our world? And when will they realize that they got to give more support? I mean, just sending jobs overseas. I'm sorry, I have lost so much respect for that company that they're sending jobs over to other places. I just have a real problem with that. I mean, I have a real serious problem with that. I mean, would you have a problem with it? I think you would. Now, a lot of people may not come out of the woodwork and say, "Oh, gee, this is a big problem," but it's a problem. It is a big problem. And I'll tell you that it's very important that we understand what's going on in our world. And we understand what Verizon's doing and what they're not doing. But the fact that they entered into an agreement with HCL to grow existing managed service businesses, I lost respect. They said they want to start unlocking value as soon as the end of 2024 and 2025. I lost a big amount of respect for Verizon because they're not even trying to give it to people in the United States. That's terrible. So I have a real big bone with that. And I'm seriously going to decide whether I want to stay with them or not because I think the thing that was great with Verizon is they used to be so customer focused. Now they're just all about the dollar. I mean, I can see it when I get a text one day after the bill is due and they're threatening that they're going to disconnect me. What kind of company is that? Who wants to do business with anybody like that? They become just this monster, just like hungry for money, and they give the worst service. Our cable company's not any better. But I'm venting. All right. Another important one is the UK Minister defends plan to demand access to encrypted messages. Oof, that's an interesting one, right? Very interesting one. What does it mean? A lot's been going on. I'm sure you guys know. And there's been all these things about what's happening, different things that are happening. And I find that a lot of people um, don't necessarily want to make a change today or tomorrow. But when it has to do with safety, right? The technology secretary says they've moved in a proposal in an online safety bill, which is very necessary to combat child abuse. And the technology secretary has defined this new online safety bill push to force messaging apps to access private messages if requested by the communications watchdog. Michelle Donnellan said the move strongly opposes the secure messaging firms and privacy campaigners and was necessary to combat child abuse. Um, I'm sure you understand we all want our privacy. And because most people don't want people reading private messages, however, we do know that on some of these platforms, they are really, let's call it, really dangerous spots for child abuse and sexual exploitation. And Donlan told the BBC this as well. And they have to be able to access the information should that problem occur. I think it's a problem that this has to be a problem, right? And I think it just goes to the fact that are people just going to stop using technology? I mean, when we're always have to worrying about if this, what this, I think that's saying that we can't even manage or monitor our own stuff. And that lets me believe that this is like a catch all. I think it's a band aid. It might be a solution temporarily, but I think it's the wrong solution because people that are not acting in that manner shouldn't be subject to this. So I don't know. I think there's got to be some other way to handle this. Again, the chief executive officer, Matthew Hodgson, and the co-founder of the secure messaging app, Element, said in response to Donald's comments, quote, "The government still does not understand how technology encryption works, despite numerous experts explaining this to them." So I think the biggest problem is our government wants to claim to know everything. Unfortunately, gentlemen, they don't know everything. And when they don't, they just assess people fines, which is another stupid thing. Anyway, I think technology is going to keep morphing. It's going to keep changing day by day by day. All right. And I know that we as people have to embrace it, but we all have to become responsible. Right. We all have to become responsible. Pretty interesting, right? I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I feel that so many things are going to be in a certain way that definitely is a big problem. Okay, and this problem, ladies and gentlemen, is quite serious. I mean, it's really, really serious. It's so serious that I feel that most people, okay, are the ones that are going to be in trouble. You heard me. I said most people are going to be in trouble. And you might be saying, John, this sounds nuts. But ladies and gentlemen, it's the truth. It is the truth. And how we as people and as communities and companies and our organizations act, I feel is our biggest challenge right now. We need to understand how things are working, how things are not working. Okay? We need to understand that. We need to understand that people have to have accountability and responsibilities, right? And if they don't have these responsibilities and accountabilities, well, where are they going to go? What's going to happen? And we can't just blame technology for it because it's not a technology problem. It's a people problem. It's a people problem. Yeah, it's a people problem. So I've got one more that I want to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Verizon's massive outage in part of Virginia. So you already know on the hot seat about how I feel about them. But this past Monday wasn't the greatest day for Verizon Wireless. And many subscribers in Virginia, of course, to the connection of social media, many were able to confirm that an outage was not an isolated issue and was a larger scale problem that affected calls and data applications throughout the entire state. The service issue started about 1:30 p.m. in few areas of Virginia. The problems continued, including voice and data outages. And Verizon Wireless said they're aware of the issues and their crews are addressing it. Spokesperson had said that they'll share more information as it becomes available. And the outage occurred just 10 days before the company begins taking orders from existing customers for iPhone. I got a problem with this, ladies and gentlemen. I know what my big problem is. My problem is I don't think Verizon is as stable as they were before. The fact that they're going to another country to do a partnership has taken my level of trust from a 10 with them down to like a 4. I know if it goes any lower, I'm probably going to drop them because I just don't like doing business with the kinds of people that work there. That's just me. But you don't have to take my opinion. Just call them and see how do they treat you. See when you talk to somebody who has a made-up name in another country, how they don't give a darn about what you say. They're just script readers. Just terrible. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It has been amazing. Of course, you know, privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you this fantastic Friday. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Check out BelieveMeAchieve.com. Click on Help Keep Our Content Free. Make the choice, buy my team and I a cup of coffee, a bowl of fruit, or a scrumptious bowl of desserts. Either way, we'll be grateful. Those pennies and dollars will invest into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping, motivational content to empower you to have an amazing life. All right, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys real soon. Be well.